Thanks. Look, I have very little to add to what Breed said on the substantive issue, except just to encourage those in the Defective Buildings Alliance, the Apartment Owners Network and all those campaigning on this issue to keep up your battle. It's because you've campaigned that you are forcing this discussion in this House, and that you will force the government to give you the 100% redress that you want and deserve, and that accountability for those profit-hungry cowboys that were let off the leash by successive governments. And that fact that you let those people off the leash who were willing to leave people with the trauma of unsafe buildings, huge financial costs, means you owe them. And you need to give that commitment here tonight, Minister, and you need to engage every step of the way with the people in the gallery and the other groups to ensure that as an absolute minimum they get the 100% redress that the MICA campaigners and the Pyrite campaigners fought for, and the accountability in terms of the rogues and cowboys who did this. But in the brief time I have available, I want to address another group and pose a series of questions which you probably don't have the answer to. But I have, information has been brought to me to the effect that Homes for Life, the private entity that was approved to do mortgage to rent for people with mortgages in distress, set up in 2017, a private entity, is that the housing agency is now suspending payments and leases, further leases, to Homes for All on the basis that they have not done repairs to defects in buildings of hundreds of people who had their homes bought by Homes for All, and where Homes for All are getting paid by local authorities the rent, and those people are now local authority tenants. Now, we need to know, first of all, because as I understand it, this is because defects were not being remedied, repairs were not being done, so it poses the question, do hundreds of people in Homes for Life, are they living in unsafe buildings? We need to find that out very, very quickly. Did the local authorities who did the arrangements for Home for Life do the surveys they were supposed to do when those houses were handed, where arrangements were done with local authorities? They were supposed to inspect those houses within 90 days to make sure that the repairs had been done. And certainly from the cases I've come across, this was not happening. Okay, so are people hundreds of people living in unsafe places, and were the local authorities at fault for not doing proper surveys? And what were Homes for Life doing, who had essentially cornered the market for mortgage to rent, but then weren't willing to put the money in to remedy structural defects and other problems which may render those houses safe and unsafe? And what is now going to happen if Homes for Life is in trouble? And you need to come back to me on this, Minister. I don't expect answers tonight. But if they are in trouble, what's going to happen to the 480 people who've been approved for Homes for Life for mortgage to rent, remember, to prevent the repossession of their homes, and the more than 700 people who are in Homes for Life who may have defects, problems and so on that need to be remedied? And indeed, is the state going to have to, well, they absolutely have to remedy these defects and protect those people if Homes for Life have let them down, and indeed council regulation and government regulation was not adequate to protect them?